Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Michael Lofton Show on Reason and Theology. Looks like bad news. The Coptic Orthodox Church appears to have suspended its dialogue with the Catholic Church. Looks like this happened yesterday in a plenary session of the Holy Synod of the Coptic Orthodox Church at the Saint Anba Bishop in Wadi Natrun papal residence. So it looks like this Synod of Bishops, Coptic Orthodox bishops, gathered together. They discussed all kinds of issues, one of which on the docket was to suspend dialogue with the Catholic Church for the foreseeable future. So that's what we're going to talk about, and I'll give you as many details as I've been able to discover. But first, let me remind you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The more people subscribe, like, and comment, the more people will be reached with this content that you appreciate right here at Reason and Theology. So go ahead, take a moment to hit that subscribe button for me if you don't mind. Well, yeah, this is just bad news. Now, since it happened yesterday, I'm not seeing a whole lot of reports about this. So I'm a little skeptical. However, I have seen enough to believe that it looks like this did happen. It looks like there's evidence for it. I mean, I don't have video footage of the synodal meeting or anything like that, but I'm seeing this from Coptic Orthodox sources. So it appears authentic. If you've come across anything saying, oh no, this isn't authentic, please let me know. But it appears authentic, and I haven't heard anything to the contrary saying, no, this isn't the case. So keep that in mind. Here is what I've been able to find. I'm going to share my screen. Should be able to see now where the bishops got together. Coptic Orthodox Church Synod rejects same-sex relations, suspends dialogue with Catholics. So I think you know probably where this is going. Again, on the docket are all kinds of things: restoring monastic life at this monastery, recognizing that monastery, establishing this office, all kinds of just, stuff on the agenda. But notice point number 6 that is here. Again, this is the text of the decisions and recommendations of the Holy Synod. So recommendations of the Holy Synod. In fact, I'll read this little preface real quick. The plenary session of the Holy Synod of the Coptic Orthodox Church was held on March 7th, 2024, yesterday. His Holiness the Pope, Tawadros II, delivered a speech at the opening session in which he spoke about the importance of fruit in the life and service of the shepherd through the parable of the unfruitful fig tree. The main committees of the Holy Synod held their annual meeting starting last Monday and for 3 days at the papal headquarters in St. Mark's Cathedral to discuss the reports submitted to them by their subcommittees. The Church announced its opinion on the issue of homosexuality through a statement issued by the Holy Synod. In its statement, the Church emphasizes its rejection of same-sex relations, supporting her opinion with many biblical verses that clearly declare the rejection of such relationships that are contrary to the human nature that God created, which is the Catholic position, right? Which is something that even reasserted and expressed as recently as last December in Fiducia Supplicans, that once again goes over same-sex acts and unions cannot be at all blessed by the church, and they are disordered. They deviate from the will of God. The only thing that is in accordance with the will of God as far as sexual activity is between a man and a woman open to procreation. So we have once again restated exactly what they're restating here. But notice item number 6. After consultation with the sister churches of the Eastern Orthodox family. So after consulting with Eastern Orthodox, which again, Coptic Orthodox are not in communion with. They're not in communion with Eastern Orthodox. But after having A discussion with the Eastern Orthodox, which is kind of odd here, since they're again not in communion with him, it was decided to suspend the theological dialogue with the Catholic Church. Interesting. Now, you recall recently with the Russian Orthodox Church, they recently condemned and voted to condemn the document by the Catholic Church, Fiducia Supplicans, on baseless grounds, on grounds that they've misunderstood it. Um, so I don't know if that factors in here or if it's entirely unrelated, but I'll point this out. It says they've decided to suspend the theological dialogue with the Catholic Church. And once you suspend something for the foreseeable future with no date on when you're going to resume, that's the same as ending the dialogue. It's like telling, the person you're dating, hey, I feel like we need some time apart. Yeah, that means that y'all have broken up. That doesn't mean that we're going to take a little time apart, then come right back together. No, that's not what that means. That means y'all are breaking up. So to speak of suspending theological dialogue in this kind of context means, yeah, we're not going to continue the dialogue with the Catholic Church for now. And then reevaluate the results that the dialogue has achieved since its beginning 20 years ago, which sounds like an excuse to me because you can evaluate those results while continuing the dialogue. It's kind of like, again, your boyfriend or your girlfriend comes to you. Yeah, so we're gonna take some time apart. Oh, wait, why? What's wrong? What happened? I just need some time to focus on myself and figure myself out. Wait, hold on. What? You can do that while still dating me. This sounds like an excuse. That's what this comes across to me like. Again, assuming it's authentic, it seems to be. I'm more than happy to come out and say, if somebody comes and shows, oh no, this is completely all made up, this didn't happen, and these various Coptic Orthodox websites were just all making it up. Okay, great. I'm more than happy to set the record straight, but it doesn't look like this is made up. So it looks like this is what it is. And it says, and establish new standards and mechanisms for the dialogue to proceed. So if we're going to proceed, you have to jump through these hoops, Catholics. Wait, hold on, huh? Huh? So, yeah, I need some time apart. It's not you, it's me. I got to focus on myself, blah, blah, blah. And if we ever come back in the future, you're going to have to do then this and that and this and that and this and that to come back into a relationship with me. Not a good move, Coptic Orthodox. Not a good move. Because from the Catholic perspective, we're in the right. From the Catholic perspective, we're not in schism and we're not in heresy. From the Catholic perspective. So those who would deny papal infallibility, papal supremacy, those who would deny any of the dogmas of the Catholic Church, and those who are formally separated from the headship of the Pope are in schism. Whether they're culpable for it, that's a different question, but that is what it is, objectively speaking. From the Catholic perspective, we're not in schism and we're not in heresy. From our perspective, everyone else who is not in full communion is either in heresy or in schism and or both. Now, again, whether they're culpable for it, different question. Different question. We're just talking about objectively speaking. But from our perspective, we're not in the wrong here. But we've still been willing to put that to the side to have dialogue with these other churches. Not only that, we've even gone to the extent of allowing the Coptic Orthodox to come to Rome and celebrate their liturgies, commemorating some of their saints that were excommunicated by the Fourth Ecumenical Council. We've gone to great lengths to continue the dialogue and have shown a great number of gestures. So to all of a sudden, we're going to break it off and, we just need to reevaluate ourselves and reevaluate the dialogue and discussion. And, I just need to focus on myself kind of thing. And if we ever come back, you're going to need to jump through these hoops. Not a good move. Not a good move because we're not in the wrong here to begin with. And this just doesn't seem right. I think I understand what's going on, though. Doesn't excuse it, but I think I understand what's going on. Here's my theory. Share my screen again. You recall just as recently as May, dialogue with the Orthodox Coptic Orthodox was going great. There was no issue. Pope Francis and Pope Tawadarus II praise ongoing Catholic Coptic dialogue. Things are going good. And again, we're just accommodating the Coptic Orthodox left and right. What happened? What happened between then and now? Well, at this synod, you've already seen that they reassert their doctrine that, homosexual acts are wrong, homosexual relationships are wrong. Okay, that's fine. That's what we also believe. But isn't it the case that many Catholics and non-Catholics have been reporting that has recently changed in the Catholic Church? Haven't a ton of Catholic content creators and a ton of Catholic news agencies and a ton of secular news agencies been telling you that the Catholic Church changed that and is now blessing gay unions and is now embracing homosexuality with its document Fiducia Supplicans in December? You know what else, though? Look at this. Back in January, there was a meeting, a joint international commission for theological dialogue between the Catholic Church and Oriental Orthodox churches. So this is after Fiducia Supplicans. January 22nd through the 26th of this year. And watch this. At this meeting, the first session then continued with the discussion on the Declaration Fiducia Supplicans on the Pastoral Meeting of Blessings published December 18th, 2023 by the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith. So they're having a discussion about fiducia, followed by a press release concerning the reception of fiducia published January 4th. So that clarification, which was very, very clear. The document was clear. The press release is clear. Blessed persons, not the union. By the way, that's the Coptic Orthodox view too. So we actually are in agreement on this, whether they realize it or not. The Coptic Orthodox position is you can bless persons, but not their union. So persons who are attracted to other persons of the same sex, you can bless persons, but not their union. You could bless the sinner, but not the sin. Catholics, Orthodox, Coptic Orthodox, we're in union on that, whether they realize that or not. We hold the same view, whether they realize that or not. The document was abundantly clear. The press conference was abundantly clear. What wasn't clear is everything that you're being told in the news, which I've documented thoroughly on this channel. What isn't clear is everything that you've been told by other Catholics on social media. That created a lot of confusion. And watch what happens. They're having this discussion, despite how clear the document is, despite how clear the press release is. So even if you think the document isn't clear, gosh, the press release on January 4th is. On December 23rd, Bishop Kyrillos sent to the Dicastery for promoting Christian unity on behalf of the Oriental Orthodox members of the commission. So on December 23rd, right before the press release, on behalf of the Orthodox members, a document entitled Request for Clarification on Fiducia Supplicans from the Oriental Orthodox Churches. So he sent it right before the press release, but then the press release comes out. Watch what happens. Having received an unofficial written response. So they got a response, but it's unofficial. I don't know from who. It doesn't say from who. Could be some low-level guy at the Dicastery. Could be Fernandez. I have no idea because it doesn't say. But it's an unofficial response from someone at the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith. The Oriental Orthodox members found it insufficient and asked for further clarifications. So they're claiming it wasn't clear, whatever they got in response from whoever this was. I don't know if that's true because I haven't seen the response. I don't know if they got something that was really clear. Here's what I do know. The document's clear, and that January 4th press release is abundantly clear, so they're without excuse. If a layman like I can understand it, they should be able to understand it as bishops and theologians, right? Because look, if we're going to have discussions about Christology and work through those issues, those are much more complex than the issues involving fiducia. So if you can understand the issues surrounding the two natures of Christ and the debate there, well, you should certainly be able to understand Fiducia Supplicans. So there's no excuse here. Regardless of what they got back, regardless of how clear or not clear it was, they're saying, hey, it wasn't clear. I want more clarification. Watch. They requested further clarification. Now, it doesn't tell us if they got more clarification or not, but what they did get is that January 4th press release that was abundantly clear. Not to mention the document itself is clear enough. So I want to just say you shouldn't even have to ask for clarification. If you have to ask for clarification, there's a problem, because you should be a theologian of a caliber. If you're in these discussions and dialogues, you should be a theologian of the caliber who should be able to sit down and read Fiducia Supplicans with no problem. If you find Fiducia Supplicans problematic as a theologian, I question your ability to have any discussions in theology, especially surrounding Christology, because again, those are much more complex questions than what you find being discussed in Fiducia. So if you're on the team and having these discussions with the Catholic Church and Christology, I got to question whether you should even be on that team at this point. It was already clear. You shouldn't even have to ask. But they did ask. They got a response. They say it wasn't clear. January 4th press release, at the very least, is clear, without excuse, in my opinion. So it says they also requested that pastoral and moral issues be added to the agenda of the commission, a request which will be discussed by a next joint coordinating committee. And they asked for this clarification due to the likelihood that this may be discussed in many of their holy synods that are up and coming, or that are coming up. And again, this was in January. So what did come up? Well, the synod that just took place, right? So it looks like they did have these these synods coming up. They were asking for clarification. Don't know why, because it was already abundantly clear and you should already know all of that. But okay, gonna have to look past that fault. And then they also requested pastoral moral issues be added to the agenda of the commission. So we're going to have to talk about pastoral and moral issues in further discussions. But to me, it looks like those aren't going to happen, because now they're saying they're voting and recommending that they suspend theological dialogue with the Catholic Church and give these odd reasons, which are no reasons at all. Reevaluate the results of the dialogue and establish new standards. So they don't really say what it is, but it's clear what it is. It looks to me like they've bought into the narrative about Fiducia Supplicans. That's to me what it looks like. There's no other explanation. Dialogue was going great. All of a sudden, they're asking for clarification of Fiducia because they're saying it's going to be coming up in one of our synods. Then in the upcoming synod, then in this synod, they're restating their position about same-sex relations, and then they suspend their dialogue with the Catholic Church. I mean, what's 2 plus 2? Well, 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's pretty clear what the reason is. They believe that the Catholic Church has now adopted a position incompatible with their position on same-sex unions. But that's, of course, as we know, propaganda. Very clear. We are blessing the persons, not the union. That's also the Coptic Orthodox position, so they would be hypocrites to deny that and push against that. So it has to be based on a misunderstanding that is, in my opinion, without excuse on their part, because they should be theologians of the highest caliber. They should know better. I understand somebody who is not trained in theology, not knowing their left from their right on this. I get it. Totally get it. They're without excuse, though, because these are bishops and theologians. They should know better. So I don't see any excuse for this. And to then talk about, well, for Catholics to have a discussion with the Orthodox in the future, oh, you Catholics are going to have to jump through hoops. Excuse me? We've bent over backwards for you guys, and we're not even in the wrong here. You shouldn't be talking about standards and mechanisms for dialogue to proceed. You got this backwards. So to me, it looks like, in fact, when they realize they made a mistake and they want to come back and have a dialogue, I feel like the Catholic Church should impose some new standards, because it's like that situation where, you're dating somebody, they come to you. I feel like we need some time apart. Oh, okay. Yeah, we need some time apart. Oh, it's not you, it's me. I just want to reevaluate some things, and I need to examine myself and all that. I need some space. I need some time to figure it all out But if you and I are going to continue in the future, you're going to have to fix this, this, and this, and this, and this. And so, all right, that person goes their own way. You move on with your life, and then they want to come back and enter back into a relationship with you, and then start dialoguing again and start dating again. Man, if you just let them come right back with no conditions, you're a fool. That person will abuse you and misuse you. What you should do is, if they want to come back, okay, you want to come back, you want to date again, you want to dialogue again. Okay, but you're going to need to go through these conditions first. No, no, you're going to need to go through them. Not me. You're going to need to go through these conditions first, because I need to see if you're sincere or not. Because if you're going to keep playing these games, you're wasting my time. So I think what the Catholic Church needs to do is, sure, keep the option open for dialogue. I'm all in favor of that, always. But there needs to be, in the future, if they actually move forward with this, which it looks like they have, okay, go out on your own, go do your thing. And when you realize you made a mistake and you want to come back, cool, we'll be here and we'll be willing to dialogue. But after these conditions have been met, so that we see that you're serious, because we weren't even in the wrong to begin with. So what is this? I don't understand why it's even necessary to say we're not going to continue dialogue. What you're saying is we're not going to continue to work for church unity. That's what you just told the whole world. You just said we're not going to strive for church unity. We're close to it at this moment. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what the division is. You can still continue to dialogue. We're not asking the Coptic Orthodox to celebrate or anything. We're not asking them to embrace anything. Dialogue is free. And dialogue shouldn't be something that you just throw away like this. Dialogue is something we've been working hard for, to fight for church unity. To stop dialoguing says you're going to stop working for church unity. I don't see how this could be right at all. And then even talk about insults is to pour salt in the wound. So this doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look like the right move. I don't care what they think. I don't care what their perspective is. I don't care what their misunderstanding it is. It's inexcusable to begin with. But whatever it is, that shouldn't impede dialogue. So let's say that they have this misunderstanding of fiducia. Okay, still come to the table and let's have that discussion. Let's have that dialogue. If you can't do that, you're not willing to work for church unity by your own admission. So what is this? It's incredibly disappointing and not something that I was expecting. I wasn't surprised when I saw the Russian Orthodox, do their shenanigans recently with fiducia, but I was surprised to see this, because I've seen the Coptic Orthodox. They tend to be more irenic. And dialogue was going great with them. What is this? What happened? Inexcusable in my estimation. And I hope dialogue resumes, but I think it needs to be with conditions on the part of the Catholic Church, and without us having to jump through hoops next time. So not only do they need to have conditions next time, since they're the ones severing dialogue, not us, but yeah, this talk about establishing new standards and mechanisms for us to talk to them in the future, that's got to go. We need an apology for this. No, stop that. You need to say, hey, sorry, we were wrong to sever dialogue and discussions. We realize we were wrong, and we want to come back and we want to make it right. What are your conditions? And then we give them whatever those conditions are in charity and move forward with the discussion. But let them know through those conditions, you don't get to just treat us like we're nothing. You don't just get to, oh, we're not going to talk to you anymore. Because again, it's like that person you're dating, and they just, I just want to go. I just want to break up, and I want to go date some other people for a little bit, and then come back and date you. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. And if you let that person do that again, they're going to abuse you, and they're going to continue to do that. And you have to put some boundaries there. So that's my perspective from where I sit. I hope I'm missing something. I hope I'm misunderstanding something. If I'm missing something, if I'm misunderstanding something, if there is something that exonerates the Coptic Orthodox, I'm more than happy to come on, do a follow-up show and explain that, and apologize, all that, whatever. I would be listen, I would be much happier being wrong and issuing an apology and clarification than for this to be true. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope this isn't right. But from what I can tell, this actually looks like, it looks like this is what's happened. So I suppose we'll find out more soon, and I will keep you up to date the best that I can. I want to get your thoughts, though. Let me know your thoughts on this situation. Of course, put it in the comment section, hit the like button, and of course, the subscribe button as well. All right, that's going to do you. See you later. God bless. Hey friends, do you want others to discover why the Catholic Church is the church that Jesus established? And do you want to help people make sense of all the confusion in the Catholic Church today? Help contribute to this mission by supporting Reason and Theology at patreon.com/Reason and Theology. By doing so, you'll also get access to exclusive content for patrons only. Also, if you want to deepen your faith, there are free ebooks and even courses that you can sign up for by visiting reason.podia.com. Are you a Catholic thinking about converting to Eastern Orthodoxy? Or are you a Protestant discerning whether or not to become Catholic or Eastern Orthodox? If so, I have the book just for you. It's called Answering Orthodoxy. It engages all of the arguments that Eastern Orthodox use against the Catholic Church. I respond to all of them. I show that they are in error, and in fact, they're inconsistent, because the things that Orthodox are objecting to are in fact found in their own tradition. So the fullness of the faith can only be found in the Catholic Church. Check out the book right now at shop.catholic.com for your copy today.